Welcome back to the Ancient Enemies. You're here with Jeremy and my co-host,
Ben, Jimin.
and the FAQ has finally dropped. Here it dropped sometime in the dark of night, uh, in Ontario, Eastern Standard Time. So, not the regular time we get. We usually get at 10:30, 10:30 a.m., something like that. So, very interesting. The phone's blowing up, at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's waking up and seeing this FAQ has dropped. So kind of a cool little random, nice wake up.
Was it?
Yeah,
We'll talk about it.
yeah, we'll talk about it. We're gonna jump right into it. This is not going to be a regular episode. We have a regular episode that was released. Hopefully, this is coming out on February 19th.
This is breaking
we just released
news.
an episode. This is breaking news. Yeah,
Hot off the press.
Off the press. So we're honestly just gonna go right through all the FAQs. We're gonna talk about what we think were the pros, cons, and maybe the ugly / wish list that we want for the next FAQ now. But yeah, we'll hop right into it. So if Ben, you want to start off with reading the if we go through it, we're gonna be reading the. Do you have it up in front of you? I did have it.
I do have it open. I've got the match play guide open in front of me. The match play FAQ.
So we'll read all the pink in there, all the pink news stuff.
Okay. First question. In scenarios that award victory points for killing the most expensive model, what happens if the most expensive model was a part of a pair or group, such as Shank and Rot? In these instances, all models that are part of the points cost will need to be killed in order to score the victory points. So in the example of Shank and Rot, the player would need to kill Shank, Rot, and the Snow Troll in order to score the relevant victory points. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Fair.
Easy.
You're paying for it all. You should have to pay. You should have to kill it all. Makes sense.
Good clarification. Next, move on.
Next is in the recon scenario. If a hero with the dominant X special rule escapes the board, we know it counts as X number of models for the purpose of working out how many individual models have escaped the board. But does it also count as X hero models for the purpose of scoring victory points? No, it will still be a single hero model. So if a hero with dominant 3 escapes the board in this instance, it would count as 3 models for the number of individual models that have escaped, but only a single hero model for the criteria outlined in the second bullet point of scoring victory points. Also makes sense.
Makes sense. It's funny because some of these, I mean, we're going to get into it obviously, but this seems like pretty common sense. Like, of course, the hero will just count as one hero for that scenario. But for some reason, and this is pretty corner case, like I haven't heard of.
I haven't really heard
coming up.
Yeah.
But they answered it, and then there's gonna be other things we get into that's like they didn't answer or that were maybe big sticking points for a lot of the community, or what seems like a lot of the community. So just again, interesting that this was clarified, but good for the clarification, I guess. Moving on.
Yeah, really. Okay, so the number 3 is in the Contest of Champions scenario, what happens if the hero is chosen to be the champion and that hero does not normally deploy at the start of a game, such as the Watcher in the Water or a Goblin Mercenary Captain? In these situations, the hero chosen to be the champion will deploy as described in the scenario, rather than using their special rules for arriving later. Makes sense.
Glad they clarified this. We were talking about this before one tournament. There was a Windlands coming, and we were kind of talking about a contest type scenario and what would happen in that case. Right.
So now onto the errata. Page 36, Escort the Wounded. Changes the first bullet point to read, you score 2 victory points for each of your wounded allies that is in base contact with a friendly model, and no enemy models in your opponent's in your opponent's board half. For each wounded ally that has been rescued, you instead score 4. So you essentially now you just have to be in base contact with like being uncontested, whereas before you had to be carrying it. So a good little clarification. Nothing game breaking really.
Yeah. Next, move on. Yeah.
Escort the Wounded. Again, on page 36, the third sentence changed to read, if during the end phase of any turn, a friendly model is in base contact with a wounded ally and both the model and the wounded ally are wholly within the friendly sanctuary, the wounded ally is removed from the battlefield and has been rescued.
Yeah, I think there was some weird wording that somebody brought up.
Yeah.
Good. They clarified it.
Yeah, exactly. That's it for the match play guide.
That's it for the match play. So let's hop into the more interesting stuff here. Armies of the Hobbit.
Yeah.
Um, there's only one thing in here, and this is one of the big ones. Page 85. Add the following additional rule: Army of Thror. An Army of Thror army may have up to 50% of its warrior models armed with throwing weapons, rather than the usual 33%. So, what were your thoughts on this when you saw this?
We were right. Was my first thought. Well, really, my first thought was thank goodness that they made it a little bit better.
Something got a buff, yeah.
Something got a buff, and we did talk about this in our FAQ episode, right? I believe we did.
I think we might have.
I think we did. But it's a good change. I was texting Jer when I read it. It is true. You're still two-handing all the time.
Yeah.
And you still don't have a banner other than Thror. So you're gonna be down VPs, but
yeah, I think it just makes the army playable.
yeah,
like just playable. It's not gonna be. Excuse me. I don't even know if it's gonna be mediocre still. Playable, like just playable.
yeah.
You're still lacking a lot in that army. But what was cool about this is that they buffed it. Like, it's good to see a buff.
Yep.
To a bad army, to a just unplayed army this edition. So that's good. It's maybe like a bit of a good forecast for maybe things to come or future FAQs, because at least they're aware of things like that. So
yeah. So that's it for the Hobbit. On to the armies of the Lord of the Rings. There's quite a few things in here.
Yeah, you want to flip flop on these ones because there's so many.
Sure. So I'll read the first one here. When Gwaihir uses the piercing cry special rule, is it the models that are within 6 inches of him when he declares the use of this rule, or the models within 6 inches of him when they activate are affected? Only the models that are within 6 inches of Gwaihir when they are activated. Models that are within 6 inches of Gwaihir when he declares the use of the rule, but are not within 6 inches when they activate because Gwaihir has moved, are not affected.
Yeah. So we are seeing the Gwaihir and Eagles being affected, obviously, thank goodness. This was the whole thing is essentially, is it a snapshot when he did the piercing cry, or is it where he moved and then the people around him? So now it's saying the models that are within 6 when they are activated are the ones that are affected, not the ones.
So you can't.
So it's not a snapshot.
It's not a snapshot. But it doesn't follow him either and affect all those people. It's just where he ends, if they're within 6 inches of him.
Yeah.
Or if you don't have priority, then where he starts, I guess. If you activate within 6 inches after he's called, I guess is the better way to say it.
Yeah. So again, good clarification. Here, the other one that's been talked about is the Uglux. How Uglux, I always forget what his rule is. Not the head taker. Is it head taker or meets back on the menu? Similar way, it kind of similar rule, and people don't know if it's a snapshot or if it's where he moves or whatnot. So we don't see that. Just a spoiler, we don't see a change on that. So maybe TOs are gonna rule it this way. But good on them for clarifying this, because people were playing it, both ways.
Yep.
And then there's going to be more Eagle stuff coming up here, which is also going to take effect. But I'll read this one. In a Realms of Men army list, what heroic tier or other hero models included in the army? Any hero models included in the army, with the exception of Kings of Men, will be classed as heroes of fortitude. This does not apply to siege veterans who will remain as minor heroes. Okay, cool.
Good clarification.
Next. Good clarification, yeah.
Okay, on to the next one. How does Grima Wormtongue's A Traitor Within special rule work in scenarios where warbands enter the battlefield, such as Recon, or those that use Maelstrom of Battle? If you wish to deploy Grima within an enemy warband in these instances, you must select the warband at the start of the game. When that warband enters the battlefield, after all models from that warband have been moved onto the board, Grima may then also do so.
Yeah, good clarification.
Yep.
Stuff like that. So weird. Glad it's clarified. If a hero declares a heroic move, heroic march, or heroic shoot whilst in range of multiple models with the whips of the master's special rule, do they get to roll a d6 for each of these models, or just a single d6 regardless of the number of models with this special rule they are in range of? Talk about a sentence with a lot of commas. The answer, a single d6 regardless of the number of models with the whips of the master's special rule the hero is in range of. Okay, so somebody who's trying to cheese this,
Yeah, multiple
obviously,
whips.
and some of this is almost common sense. Again, like this is the stuff that gets answered, and good. More clarification is always better, but
Mhm.
it's just frustrating seeing this type of thing and then other stuff not be answered. But
Yeah. Okay, next
uh,
one. More eagles.
into
So,
the errata, yeah,
yeah, into the errata now. So, change the last sentence to read. So, this is the piercing cry. Change the last sentence to read. If he does, then enemy models within 6 inches of Gwaihir cannot charge during that turn, but may otherwise act normally. So, you
yeah,
can't just make them freeze. You can still move. So, you can't just, I don't know, you can still move to an objective or plug up a gap or whatever, you want to
yeah,
do.
and you'll be able to see heroes like run away. Especially people on horses.
Yeah.
Your Glorfindols can move 12, so you might be at a range of the eagles, and you're gonna see people doing anti-fly formation. So, um, bubbling up their heroes, making it more than 2 or 3 layers to get to them. So, good change.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty fair.
Makes more sense, like in terms
Yeah.
of Gwaihir's piercing cry, making people kind of like too terrified to charge him rather than just
Hmm.
freeze in place.
Hey, they might want to run away. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Adds a little bit more
I like.
play. It's not just like a rule. No, it's not just like a nope card,
Yeah,
like a stop
true.
sign. It's more of there's more play to it for sure.
They're
Which
working with it.
yeah,
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 so that's nice to see. Um, and again, I think that'll bring Eagles just to right where they're still going to be good, but I don't think they're busted, especially with these rule
yeah,
changes.
exactly.
Uh, page 146, Shelob base size changed to 80 mil. So that is official now.
Hmm.
Change all your Shelobs.
Yep.
Next.
Grima Wormtongue, a traitor within. Change the fourth paragraph to read: whilst Grima is considered a friendly model, he does not have a control zone and may ignore the control zones of enemy models and may move through the enemy models as if they weren't there. When Grima moves this way, he cannot end his move overlapping or in base contact with an enemy model. Additionally, while Grima is considered to be a friendly model, enemy models may move through Grima in the same manner as described above. Grima can choose to charge an enemy model as normal if he wishes.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice to see that they're doing something to him.
Yeah.
More Grima. Change the
Yep.
fifth paragraph to read. Like something's an issue and yeah.
Multiple
They have
paragraphs are
more
being
than
changed.
yeah, exactly. Change the fifth paragraph to read. These restrictions immediately end if Saruman suffers an unsaved wound, if Grima charges an enemy model, if Grima destroys an enemy siege engine, or if Grima interacts with an objective marker, such as destroying a supply marker or picking up an objective, at which point Grima is treated as a normal enemy model and can be charged, shot, and slain like any other model. Additionally, Grima can never be chosen as a target in scenarios that require players to select friendly or enemy hero models, such as Fog of War or Assassination. Nice to see the additionally, Grima can never be chosen as a target in scenarios that require players to select friendly or hero models such as Fog of War, Assassination. Good clarification there. You don't have a lot of weird, cheesy stuff happening with them. So,
Okay, more Isengard Army of the White Hand here. So this is on the Conjure Lightning. I changed the first sentence of the bullet point to read: choose a point on the battlefield at least 12 inches away from any friendly model, including Grima Wormtongue. Um,
interesting way to nerf it.
yeah, not what I was expecting.
No.
I
And
I was expecting more of a straight up nerf
yeah,
to the strength of the hits or the ability to call it. Not what I would have
it
done for,
seemed
but
it's kind of like what you said before. It's less of like a full stop, and it's more of like they're trying to work with kind of what's going on. So maybe again, that's a bit telling of kind of how the rules writers are interacting with things now. They're kind of trying to work with what's there, and I don't know how I feel about this one.
yeah,
I mean, it's still gonna be good. You know, if you have uh, a Hordy army, it's gonna be easy to be 12 inches away from Grima. Um, there is gonna be some play, like you can try to stay near Grima, um, but even his other spells are still good too, and they're still
yeah.
the auto cast. They're still so. You know what? Again, it's nice to see a bit
At
of
least
a.
it's something.
At least it's something, yeah.
They didn't completely ignore it, you know?
But I think it's still.
Could use some work.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. Like so, interesting. This is one of the. This is the big one. Page 235, Depths of Moria, Drums in the Deep. This is the one that everybody has been talking about and wanting. And this is what they did.
Yep.
Change the special rule to read. Once per game, at the start of any move phase, a Depths of Moria player can declare they are using this special rule. If they do, until the end phase of the turn, enemy models suffer a -1 to any courage test they're required to take, whilst friendly Moria goblins gain a bonus of +1 to any courage test they're required to take. Additionally, until the end phase of the turn, friendly Moria goblin models count as being in range of a banner. So it's a 1-turn activation. That's
Yep.
what they did. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll really bring them down again. I like how they're working with the rule. They kept the rule, the same, except for obviously a huge change of it just being once a game.
Yeah.
So, uh, I think it's going to completely change its effectiveness.
I was gonna
It's still
say
going to be a good list.
I think it's enough. It was what
Yeah.
I think it was a good I think that's good. A good change.
Yeah. I think
Um
I think depth is still going to be up there for competitive lists, but it's not going to be that crazy good. It's not going to be your 2 goblins running off into the corner and beating high elves or whatever dwarves because they just get to roll a ridiculous amount of dice.
yeah.
And the courage buff too, I think was a little uh underrated by people. Like your having courage 7 Moria goblins is really, really good.
Yeah.
Your men courage. So that's nice that it's only the once per game now. So
Yep.
and even the net courage for it's good that it's gone, just gone once per turn. You know,
Yep.
uh, so I like what they did there.
I do as well. That's it for Middle Earth. Or sorry, that's it for the Lord of the Rings. So now on to
Yep.
the Middle Earth.
Yep. Only a
Okay.
few in here.
Only a few, yep. So first one is, where does the Great Eye marker deploy in scenarios that don't have a specific deployment zone, such as recon, or those that use Maelstrom of Battle? In these instances, the Great Eye marker will be deployed touching its controlling player's board edge. In Maelstrom of Battle scenarios, determine which board edge is the controlling players in the same manner as if they had a siege engine, as described on page 139 of the Middle Earth Strategy Battle Game Rules Manual.
Nice.
Good little
Good clarification. Yep. Next, page 27, Tom Bombadil. Hop along, my hearties. Add the following to the end of the bullet point. A model may only be affected by this song once per turn. Now, if I'm correct here, this is the movement spell, or the movement shenanigans with Tom Bombadil. And now you just can't move somebody a ridiculous amount. I don't have my rule book in front of me. I should. Can you check?
Yeah. Gone, but I gone.
Tom may sing any number of these songs during his activation and may sing each of these songs as many times as he wishes during his activation, unless otherwise stated. And in that one, it doesn't say.
Okay, so
yeah,
that's
he
the
can
movement.
just spam it.
Yeah, so good that Tom Bombadil can't spam this thing, and you have some, whoever it is running 18 plus inches across the board in
Yeah.
some crazy fashion. Totally not what the game is meant to be. So nice to see that. page 122. Oh, sorry. I read that one right.
Yep.
So
So
you got the
now
dragon
the
here.
dragon breathe fire on page 122. The dragon, so change to read. The dragon can breathe fire as a shooting attack during the shoot phase. Treat this as a bow with a range of 12 inches. If the shot hits, then the model that is hit suffers a strength 10 hit, and if they suffer a wound from this hit, which is not prevented, they are automatically slain. Additionally, all other models, friend and foe, within 2 inches are immediately set ablaze, though they will not be automatically slain if wounded. This is a fire-based attack.
Nice.
So a little nerf to the
A little nerf
fire.
to the, yeah. So you're not just blowing up everything around you.
Still hitting on twos.
Still hitting on twos. They definitely could have done more with this. This one, I mean, maybe we can get into the whole pros and cons after, but this one I'm disappointed with.
Yeah.
We'll
Not the
keep going
change I was
through
hoping
though.
for.
Not the change, yeah.
So last is the rules manual.
So, can a model make way into a control zone? Yes. I didn't know that this needed clarification. I thought it was in
Yeah, I
there,
thought that
but
was in there.
again, more clarification is good.
Can models benefiting from a successful heroic combat dismount, make jump, leap, climb, or swim tests, or pick up objects as part of this additional move? Yes to all.
Perfect. More clarification, the better. This is definitely one of those weird ones where somebody might be like, no, that happens during the move phase
Yeah.
or something. So, next one. If a monster wins a duel roll whilst prone, can they still use brutal power attacks? No, it will simply stand up as normal. Cool. Good clarification. Love it.
If a chariot is wounded by something that would kill it instantly, such as a direct hit from a siege engine or the King of the Dead's Drained Soul special roll, and the chariot is being ridden by a hero, are any hero models riding the chariot instantly killed? No, in these instances, any hero will be affected as described in the second paragraph on page 101.
This is one, like, what? This is kind of like you just get shaking your head. What? Why was this answered?
Yeah.
If a chariot is wounded by something that would kill it instantly. Okay, so the chariot.
Yeah.
Okay. The chariot's getting wounded.
The
Okay,
fact that
so
it's an FAQ too means that it was frequently asked.
I don't get it. Does that like you're a thrown rider?
Yeah.
Why would
was
the
destroyed.
rider suffer? I don't know. Again, I wouldn't really have an issue with these either. Again, because it's just like, okay, you know what? Again, more clarification the better. But when you're missing clarification on other things that definitely need to be clarified, it's a bit of a shake your head. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but okay. So next, if a model that is benefiting from the shield wall special rule is knocked prone due to a cavalry charge, will they still benefit from the shield wall special rule for the duration of that combat? Yes, as the special rule states that the benefit of the +1 defense is calculated before models back away. So this one,
I thought people were saying this wasn't included.
Yes, this was not included in the first iteration of the FAQ, and then they added this.
Right.
So this is like the updated. This is the FAQ to the FAQ. So that seemed good for the clarification. You know, it is a little awkward. It does seem to kind of not make sense, but good for the clarification.
Okay, so what happens if two models that are carrying a heavy object together need to take a jump, leap, climb, or swim test? In these instances, but once both models are in the relevant positions, make a single roll for the required test and apply the test to both models. Apply the result to both models. They may then continue their activation as normal.
Nice. Perfect. Yep. Good clarification. And barge. So this is the last of the FAQs, right?
Yep.
Went through everything. And last thing. So if you're expecting more, there's no more, which you might be at this point. Page 90, barge. Change the final sentence of the first paragraph to read, models may still make way for losing models, which will be decided by the monster model's controlling player, and if they do, may back way up to 3 inches rather than usual 1 inch in a direction chosen by the monster model's controlling player. When a model makes way in this manner, it will only do so the minimum amount it needs to in order to allow the model backing away to back way 3 inches. It won't be forced to make way a full 3 inches if only making way 1 inch would suffice to allow the barge model to back way 3 inches, for example, and it won't be automatically knocked prone if it is able to make way the required amount. So they've made barge less busted,
Yeah, it
right?
was kind of crazy before. You could
Mhm.
barge you could barge a support into another model, make that model back up 3 inches, and then make the model you barged 3 inches as
Yeah.
well.
So
That's
three models, three. Yeah.
yeah, makes sense this way too.
It's going to make barge a lot trickier. For monster models, we're very familiar with barge.
Hmm.
You love a good barge. I
I
love a good
love
barge.
a good barge.
So very familiar, and I mean, it was too good. So
Yeah.
it's going to make it trickier, which it should be,
Hmm.
and good.
Yeah, if that was a fair
So
change, good change.
so pros, cons, and things we want to see. Right away when I looked at kind of after looking at the whole thing and people started to chat, it was like, okay, well, what was missed? Golden King of Abercon was missed, big time in my opinion. Again, the clarifications of rules are the things that I want to see uh the absolute most, besides like the big boys being uh nerfed.
Hmm.
I just want to see clarifications on rules. I don't need to see armies getting buffed. I want to see clarifications on rules. The yeah, the Golden King of Abercan being messed with how brutal power attacks affected, I think was a miss. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
what else was glaring for you?
um. Well, there's not. Well, one big thing that I was really hoping for was like Numenor to get some sort of banner, just a pure Numenor, because
Yeah,
I think
as a
Numenor is
buff.
really cool, just as a buff, something that was um on my wish list for sure.
Yeah, the buffs. I mean, the buffs as a whole. Did we see any other than Army of Thror?
Just the one, yeah.
Just the one. Like again, I'm not personally. I'm not as again. Those would have been so nice. It would have been so nice to see um more stuff. Corsairs, uh, Numenor. Yeah, I get a banner. Um, what
Because the
else?
thing is,
Nothing's
like,
coming to mind now.
Th-
Expedition to the East. Well, it's legacy, but
the thing is, like, Thror, Army of Thror, and Numenor are literally never played. I mean, obviously not literally never played, but they're not they're not good lists. They're bad
no,
lists. Objectively, they're bad. So Numenor is on the bottom by itself. Not by itself, but the
not by itself. You still have Corsairs, and
yeah. But it's still
but I mean, I think that's inevitable. You're gonna have that. I agree. I would love to see it too.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, okay. So, but again, it was nice that we saw Army of Thor, and we can see that they will
They
buff
will do
something.
something, yeah.
Does that gives us hope, right? Like Lord of the Rings, the whole
A little
theme is
bit.
hope, right? It's always there's always hope. Um, so that is what it is. The buffs, other glaring misses for me. Um, uh, I don't to me this is fairly clear. The whole hurling at wraiths and the strength 6, and because it says additionally you're knocked flying.
Mhm.
But I understand the confusion, and again, more clarification would be good there because I can see both sides of the coin there.
Yeah.
Um, so that's frustrating. Again, just the pure rules clarifications. More of those. We just need more of those for all the stuff. Just
Yeah.
clarify it.
Yeah.
I've said it now a million times in this podcast. Um, what was not nerfed? So we got the big boy nerfs, right? We
Mhm.
got the depths nerf. We got somewhat of an Army of the White Hand nerf, although I don't know if it was heavy handed enough. But we did get it, so they're aware. What are maybe some other things that we didn't see that we were wishlisting or talked about?
Well, I'm surprised that I was honestly surprised not to see usurpers anywhere mentioned in like a points increase for the model for like
The yeah,
the
what do they call
Crebain
Wildmen?
or the Wildman. So the Crebain more, I
Yeah,
was surprised.
yeah, the Crebain, the Wildmen, whatever.
Like top tables, you're seeing like 5+ Crebain like at big tournaments and stuff. That's pretty glaringly obvious that they're very good.
Yeah, they're what's efficient. They're very
Yeah, they're
efficient.
very efficient. So why they got missed is beyond me, really.
Hmm. Um, Yeah, that would have definitely even like a 5, 10 point something, just a little something.
Yeah.
That was annoying. Leggy, to be honest.
Legolas, yeah.
Um, after playing him,
A couple
I played him,
times. Yeah.
just played against him
Casually.
casually. He is such a frustrating model to play against.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to see a little bit of a nerf for him, but we didn't. We didn't. I don't think that's going to happen. At this point now. I don't even want to like. We could talk about what we'd want to see and whatever, but I don't think it's going to happen at this point. If they didn't do it now, I don't know when they'd do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Next
unless Men of the West
FAQ, the
somehow.
next FAQ, the additional will be 2 years old. So,
Yeah,
um, very unlikely that we
is
see
that
like
a year and a half?
it's a year and
I
a
think about
half
a year
right
and a
now.
half.
Yeah.
It's a year and a half. No, it's like just past a year, few months, couple
Right.
months.
Yeah. December. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So that is what Hurl. I was thinking about Hurl too. We didn't get any change to Hurl. I definitely could have seen a nerf there.
Mhm.
Am I mad about that? I don't know. Not
Well, like I
really,
said yeah, I'm not really mad about it, but there were some balancing things that they could have done, like making good
for
monsters
sure.
not be able to hurl into their own combats. It makes sense. If you
Just
can't,
a
if
little
a
line.
good,
Yeah.
yeah, if a good hero can't, or a good model can't shoot into their own combat, why you're able to chuck a dude into a Great Eagles combat or like Bayorn.
Yeah.
Just little rules like that. Um,
Yeah. So I mean, overall, overall, I mean, is there any other points you want to make pros cons or?
Not really. Um, there was a lot of just generic, like kind of, yeah, like you said, like self-explanatory rules,
Mhm.
clarified, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never a bad thing.
No, it's overall. How overall, if you rated the FAQ out of 10, 10 being perfect, they did everything I hoped and dreamed of, and GW did a fantastic job, and one's like they didn't do anything. Where would you kind of put it?
I'd put it like I would put it at like a 7,
7.
like a 6 or a 7, because they got the big boys, they got depths, they touched the white hand, they got eagles, and they buffed Army of Thor, which is good. That's overall there wasn't any particularly bad changes. Like that's a bad change. They just missed some things and then kind of missed the mark on a couple of things like the breathe fire. Not what I was
Yeah.
expecting or hoping
Oh
for.
man, we didn't even talk about Breathe Fire. Yeah, they missed the mark huge on that.
Like, yeah,
They missed the mark huge on that. It's so oppressive.
yeah.
It's too good.
But overall, yeah, I'd say like a 7 is where I'd put it. What about you?
I should have said you can't pick 7 because everybody picks 7.
Well, okay, I'll
everybody,
pick I'll pick
if
6.
yeah, okay,
It's not
6,
an
yeah.
8. It's not an 8. 8 out
No,
of
it's
10 is
definitely not
like
an 8.
they got 80% of what I was hoping for. It's probably closer to 65%. It's like 6.5.
Yeah, 66.5 is probably a good. Yeah, it's funny. Everybody picks 7 for that's not just for this, but for everything. Everybody picks
No,
a 7
yeah.
because it's right. But I was gonna say the number that kind of came to mind for me was 6, but I think 65% maybe better. Again, I think what kind of just puts it above midway is the fact that they took out the big guys at the top. That was huge. Um, there was last edition, I think it was when the Dragon Emperor was busted or felt busted. Um, there was an FAQ where they didn't do anything, and it was just kind of like, what is
Yeah.
happening? Like this list is just dominating. You have to do something, and they didn't. And then they did the next FAQ. So at least it's one of these. They recognize that they did it now, and we're not waiting another 6 months. So
Yeah.
that's what maybe pushed it for me. They recognized Eagles. They did clear up some things. But yeah, what's definitely not pushing it into the 7, 8 range is the fact that I feel like they did miss huge on things like Breathe Fire and some
Crevain.
bigger rule clarifications,
Crevain,
just
yeah.
more clarifying.
Golden King.
Yeah. You miss that. If you got those, you're probably at like a 7.5. To be honest, close
Golden
close
King
to 8.
was, yeah, glaringly obvious. That would, if they got Golden King, yeah, I would probably put it at a 7, just past 7.
And then to push it into 9, 10 territory is like 9 is they hit everything. They hit like Legolas. They hit,
Yeah.
all these things that people have been talking about. And then 10 is like they also buffed things. Actually, that's part of the reason
Te-
why it's just over half too is they
yeah.
recognized the Army of Thror. They did buff something which I didn't see really coming
No.
personally. So overall, pros, I think they're
10 is also like 10 is like the game is in a perfect state. Everything is perfectly balanced. Like it'll never be a 10.
well, I mean it's yeah. Well, it
10
doesn't necessarily
10
mean
is
it's a perfect state, but it means that they perfectly hit the nail on the head with everything that could be changed at that time because the game could,
meaning
shift
that
after the FAQ.
right.
Like they hit everything to
Sure, the
make it a
FAQ in it.
balanced.
Sure. Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So,
guess.
but yeah, I mean, I think there's more pros than cons overall.
Mhm.
There's more good to take away than bad.
Yep.
Um, but it wasn't just a complete, out of the park home run. Do you have anything that you want to see next FAQ now already before anything's even, we haven't even played a game with the new FAQ?
Like buffs or like
Anything.
okay, sure. Okay. So in 6 months from now, I hope that Numenor will get some sort of redemption.
Yeah.
Like we talked about in our FAQ episode, go watch it. What we talked about Numenor. Um, so they've got to clarify the Golden King. That has to be done. You mentioned Legolas. Definitely something could be done to him, although I don't think it'll happen. Um, let me think here. That's really it because
Yep.
there's not uh anything else really that I'm hoping for personally. There's probably some other things that could be done that other people, but those are the only things that I'm really looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. Coming out of it, I want to see something happen to Breathe Fire. I still again, I don't think it's a broken list. I just think that the list is oppressive
Mhm.
and that, having your army blown apart is never fun.
No.
So I would like to see still a change to more restriction to Breathe Fire, more rules clarifications, like you said, Golden King, et cetera, like we've talked about this whole episode. And then I think I would like to see a leggy nerf. I don't think like we need to see how this edition's now gonna, uh, catch its gear and how the meta is gonna change. But I think Leggy's still gonna do leggy things. Leggy's still gonna pinpoint. He's still gonna shoot 3 shots into combat. Um, this is getting into our speculation territory really quickly, but it'd be nice to see him just, if he just had even expert shot, pinpoint shot is still great for him, and I still think you'd take him for that value.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy to think. Like if you just with that pinpoint shot, you can shoot a horse out, take heroes off their mounts in combat. That's great value for whatever he is. He's 100 points, right, or something,
Mhm.
right around that mark. And so he doesn't need the 3 shots in combat. He doesn't need, just give him expert shot, 2
Yeah.
shots per turn. He can't shoot into combat. I think people are still taking him. Uh, I don't think he's an auto include at that point, but anyways, I don't want to start theory crafting, wish listing too crazily, but yeah, that's I think that's the
That's
FAQ
really
episode.
it. Yeah.
Um hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys agree, disagree, let us know down in the
Yep.
comments.
What do you guys want
We
to
did
see?
yeah, we should have release this when another episode has released just earlier today. So go check that out and we will catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.